There's so many things you're not going to know, and that's okay.
It's all about the experience. It's doing it. It's actually being in it.
C'est la vie.
Pack as less as possible, as least as possible. Bring so much more less. How do I say that? Stop bringing over stuff. Oh my gosh.
We originally were going to bring a large suitcase and then our 4 backpacks.
That would never work.
There's just been too many times where we're getting on a bus. Or
the cobblestone streets, the rocks.
And, you know, you can sometimes put luggage under the bus and things like that, but it just would have been too much. And we try, if possible, to never check any luggage. So
Correct.
We only have two
small
backpacks.
bags.
One normally fits under, the one slightly larger and goes above. But
it's the biggest thing. The only other thing would be random things like certain medicines, ibuprofen. I take a certain type of face lotion or a chapstick that you really need or like that you would feel comfortable with. Maybe bring a few extras of those. But most of the things you can get abroad.
Another thought is charging adapters. First, everywhere we've been, it was the same same outlet as in the US, but not here. And the adapter that we have that we thought was universal,
160 countries ends up being the one that we're not in.
That was a bit of a challenge. Our phones, I think, had both completely died, and we just walking around Santiago asking people in our Spanish. For me, it's mostly just to do it. There's so many things you're not going to know, and that's okay.
It's all about the experience. It's doing it. It's actually being in it and knowing that whatever you were worried about or the advice you need, you have to do it. It's like an internship, right? You go to college for 4 years and you're told all this stuff. It's not until you're actually experiencing the job or the life. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah.
There's no advice except do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to do it.
Don't let anything hold you back. Just a few smaller pointers. You know, learning a bit of the local language is really important. Thankfully, we'd already taken some Spanish. Other countries we traveled to next, maybe it's going to be more difficult.
Credit cards, we've been really lucky about no foreign transaction fees. Check with your banking before you leave, and always know what kind of currency you're going to have in person. A lot of places either take only card or only cash. You need to have both on you at all times.
We have the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Again, I wrote a blog about this if you want to go check it out, but it's no foreign transaction fees. We've used it almost everywhere. We also earn a lot of points with it. And the debit card that we have, partially thanks to my dad that works for JP Morgan, but we don't have any fees when we use ATMs.
Very lucky. Usually $3.95, $4.95.
I never looked into how else you can do that, but I know there are ways. So we think, and having backups too, as far as the cards, like we have things in separate places. So if for whatever reason we lose something, which did happen in Panama, Jenna lost her wallet, a little bit of cash, a credit card. I think that, and maybe your license. So we have backups of some of those things. The card, at least, was the important one.
The passport would have been really bad.
Trying to make sure you never end up really in a bind.
We want a better routine. I think we want to wake up, stretch, drink water, meditate, or not be on our phones or devices right away. But right now it's kind of Jeremy wakes up a little bit before me. I wake up a little after, and then we kind of start our day.
The hard thing is that things change. We're in a different place every few days.
Sometimes we're packing up.
That was another thought, is just to the aspiring nomad or whatever, just keep in mind that the faster you travel, the more that you spend, and sometimes
the more stress.
The more potential stress, planning,
you're
constantly needing to figure out the next thing. When we started, we were in Costa Rica for over a month, and we were actually in one Airbnb for 3 weeks. We actually booked it for 4 weeks. There's a discount when you book something for 28 days on Airbnb. There's usually a built-in discount. You can also always ask the host for a discount. But it was nice because we didn't really have to be that worried about what was next because we were somewhere for 3 weeks.
Well, we got to unpack. We used the closet space. Right now we live out of the bags. We just grab stuff out.
We've done a lot of week-long stays where we can sort of unpack a little bit, get that feeling, but still it's like you have that on your mind. Okay, well, what's next? And a lot of times now, we don't really have the next plans in place because things change and we don't know. So you have to be flexible. Routine
is really hard to navigate, but we should have a few pieces that connect every time.
Yeah.
Exercise and hobbies.
The answer is yes, it is difficult.
It is difficult because of routine. You don't know where you're going to be. You don't know the weather. Jeremy and I do hike and bike and
we walk a lot.
More than... We feel like daily we're getting a form of exercise. In Costa Rica, Jeremy would go run to a stream and then work out with the rocks in the stream. That was a cool, unique way to do it. We haven't gone to any gyms. I'd be interested, but again, you have to be a member. We're not there long enough. So we use the outdoors. recreation. That's our exercise. Stretching.
We could be better about it because we are pretty physically active. I run a lot just through cities and towns. I think that's enjoyable, a nice way to see the place also. But for me, I have way too many hobbies. And when we were living in North Carolina, I got into rock climbing, skiing, mountain biking. Since we've been traveling, I've been able to climb once outside in Panama and Boquete and once in a gym here in Chile, but that's not enough for me. So I'm like constantly looking, but that's, you know, an expense.
We have
our parents' place, is the address that we give. We have an address for our business as well, for Quench Your Adventure, that receives mail.
We have two things.
Primarily, most of our stuff gets sent to my mom.
There's not anything,
our mail, takes us
to
photos
be honest,
if it's important.
Everything is, that's a good advice, is to do everything paperless.
As much as possible.
We don't really have mail being sent anywhere because there isn't anything
it's minimal.
There's nothing to be given.
Use your parents if you can, or some family. And if not, you can use...
The other one we do is $9.99 a month. It's called Going Postal.
iPostal One, I think is the official name. Yeah, you can check that out.
Enjoy yourself. We in them roaring 20s. Must be them roaring 20s. Say la vie. Yes, indeed.